Je mehr sich die Dinge ändern, desto mehr bleiben sie gleich. Die Geschichte wiederholt sich. Lassen Sie sich nicht tauschen. The more things change is the more they remain the same. History repeating itself. Don't be fooled. Now you see all this bravado, all this boasting, all this thumping of the chest and standing up to the US. All of this is nothing new. This is the same sort of reckless talk and reckless rhetoric that took place during the PRG. And that is why that PRG was a very short-lived 4.5 years. Because they pretty much invited the United States to invade them. So they used to have songs singing, let them come, we will bury them in the sea. That was one of the big mantra to rile themselves up. Okay? Then they used to say, the ACA, referring to the AK, the ACA speaking Spanish. This is some of the things they used to say. So then you should not be surprised when now the opportunity lends itself in some sort of way for these washed up socialist Marxists to confront the US, that they will seize the opportunity. And in some way they delude themselves into believing that what they did not do or could not have done in 83, that they can, do it right now. Now I'll give you a little perspective. In 83, when the United States invaded, they pretty much did not have much information on Grenada. A matter of fact, the soldiers used tourist maps. And anyone who is slightly familiar with the military would understand that it's very difficult to even call in fire in a tourist map. Okay? You'll have to give directions like how Grenadians give directions sometimes. By the mango tree there, around the corner, you'll see a big stone. Okay? Whereas with a professional military map, you can give coordinates. But anyway, so that was the situation. But I want you to understand now, in this world that we live, that any superpower, and as a matter of fact, with little home computers, you can map every square inch of Grenada. Okay? If a pin drops on Green Street, okay, they can tell you exactly which square inch that pin dropped. So the point that I am making is that everything is seen. Even the things that you think are not seen are seen. And then if there are people making special efforts to see what they want to see, they will see it. I want you to understand what I'm saying. So we have actually experienced in our lifetime, in the recent times, and saw what reckless speech can lead to. I predicted all of that, and we saw what happened. And here we go again, like three blind mice, not understanding that reckless speech has consequences. You have the First Amendment, you can say whatever you want. But the question is, when you are in certain authority and when you're looked up to in a society, what you say, you should be extremely careful because you have the ability to influence people. And we saw this in 83. Now, all these big boasters and these fellas filled with bravado and all these megalomaniac said all sorts of things and thought that there were no consequences to what they said. And at the end of the day, you know what's funny? Well, not even funny at all, but you know what's not funny? Is that ultimately, when they invited a war, many of them ran and hide. As I said, if you take a look at the stories I talk about during the month of October, you would have heard of some of the things that I said. Many of them ran and hide under their bed, biting their nails like little girls. Okay? When the actual let them come actually came. So I say all of this to say that they're doing the same thing again. They boasted, bravado, reckless speech. And guess what? If things again want to hit south, okay, guess who will be left alone to fend for themselves. You. So this is a special message to the youth of Grenada. You would be left to fend for yourselves. Now you have to understand, you remember you guys in NDC and the youth in Grenada now always talk about, oh, they're old. You have to understand that a lot of the people who are making all these reckless statements and reckless speech are much older folks. They already have their homes. They already have their retirement money. Okay? So in some respects, they're set. Now you, young people, are trying to get your life together. So you don't want anyone to try to trip up your opportunity, okay, for economic advancement and developing yourself. So I don't want you to be deluded and to follow these people whose lives are already set. Understand that. But I trust and hope that you young folks are smart and are wise and would not be easily duped or bamboozled again. As I've told you in the past, it was the same Grenadian youth that these people left on the battlefield to face one of the greatest armies in the world. 15-year-olds and 16-year-olds were actually part of a security element for anti-aircrafts at Pearls Airport. Okay? 15 and 16-year-olds. In Boucherjou, 16, 17, and 18-year-olds lost their lives. Okay? Fighting for these people who were talking a set of reckless talk. So, understand, when as we say, when the shit hits the fan, guess who is left to fend for themselves? All these big badgers and all these people filled with bravado and all these big boasters, they are going to run and leave you on the battlefield. They are going to leave the Grenadian people on the battlefield. Understand that. So the point I'm making is don't get caught up. Don't follow these people who are making all this anti-American rhetoric. They are just trying to impress you. They want to come across as intellectual petty bourgeois. They want you to feel that they are some global strategic thinkers, when truly they're not. Now I want you to understand, in all that I say, I am not advocating for anyone. I want you to understand, ultimately, the decision about this whole issue has to be made by the current administration. And hopefully, with good reason, critical thinking, good judgment, and decision making, they make the right decisions, which would be or should be in the best interests of the state, as every state does. Okay? Every state makes decisions based on their personal interests that is beneficial to their state. Understand that. Every state does it. So, I sincerely hope that this current administration has truly competent, regional, and global strategic thinkers to assist them in coming to the right conclusion to this matter. Hopefully, the people that advise them are not as reckless, impulsive, and emotional like these socialist Marxists. If these were the same people making decisions for the PRG, now you understand that it is no mystery that the PRG ended the way it ended. Look at them right now. You know, in some respects, I am glad the Grenadian youth could see how impulsive, okay, how emotional, and how reactionary these people are. It's exactly how they were during the PRG. That is why everything they did and worked so hard for initially ended up destroyed. These are not strategic thinkers. These are impulsive, emotional people. These are not calculating, carefully cunning people. No, they're not. They don't see beyond their noses. They don't think for the future. They don't think long term. They think immediate gratification to make themselves look good, to make themselves feel good, and to make you believe that they are some really, really bright people. But if you're careful and you're looking on, you would realize by their very action, they can't be too smart. Ultimately, the Grenadian youth, carefully consider this. You guys have access to information at your fingertips now these days. Try to make sure that you get reliable information, responsible information, okay? And then and only then can you make informed decisions. To top it off, let me just give you a little story that occurred at Pearl's Airport during the invasion in October 25th, 1983. Now, I want you to understand, it wasn't just teenagers alone that they left on the battlefield while they ran and hide. The whole upper echelon ran and hide up in Mount Parnassus. Okay? So I want you to understand why they were hiding, okay? Young men, 15, 16, and 17, was at Pearl's Airport, defending Pearl's Airport. And not just young men, women. These guys left women on the battlefield. As a matter of fact, there are women that I can tell you about that showed more courage than them. I'll give you a little story. There's a certain woman that fought like hell. Okay? Down in the south, in Carifta Cottages. Okay? She fought like hell. Then, let me illustrate a story to you that happened at Pearl's Airport. This woman, okay, put her life on the line, and she was supposed to be loading an anti-aircraft system. This gentleman, he's fine, realizing that, oh, well, it's over, it's finished. So he's hoping that this woman would be loading the anti-aircraft. So he kept saying, feed me, feed me, feed me. Let's use a fictitious name. Feed me, Suzanne, feed me, Suzanne. When he turns around, looking for Suzanne, guess what he saw? All he saw was the back of Suzanne with her bra and undies running through the fake stool. Okay? It may sound comical, but it's not. It's an actual story. So again, this is just to reiterate, okay, that when things go south, if you think all the big talk and the big mouth and the big bravado and telling you stand up to the US, say no, and we can do what we want, we big and we bad. If you think that if it comes down to the wire that these people will be there to protect you and have your back, well, I'm telling you something. You're setting yourself up. Because if history is any testament, okay, these people ran and left kids and women on the battlefield. Okay? As I said, there's only one among them, okay, that had some guts. So the choice is yours, my dear Grenadian people. It's all yours. But I hope you would be rightly guided. I hope you'll be careful. I hope you'll be considerate in all that you do. Because it's only through careful consideration in these matters that have high implications and ultimate consequences that you need to be extra careful. On that note, guten Abend.